Joining me right now, author of a very interesting, fascinating book for anybody who has wondered what goes on in the world of horse racing. It's called Headless Horsemen, a tale of chemical Colt subprime sales agents and the last Kentucky Derby on steroids. We're joined by the author Jim Squires by telephone today from the beautiful state of Kentucky. And Jim, thanks for being with us. How are you?
Well, I'm delighted to be here. Thanks for having me.
There's been a lot in the news the last couple of years, particularly with Big Brown a couple of years ago in the Kentucky Derby and what goes on in steroid use in professional sports, but it all kind of comes together in this particular book. Why did you decide to write it at this time?
Well, I actually decided to write it after Big Brown and the breakdown of 8 bells because the industry had never been any more headless than it was in the wake of that Derby. The public automatically associated the breakdown of 8 bells with steroid use, when in fact the horse that broke down was not on steroids and was not a horse that had been trained on steroids, while the horse that won was a steroid horse and was probably the last horse to be trained on steroids that will win the Derby. So it seemed like to me that this was a perfect time to try to clear up some of the myths about horse racing. And if you remember then, they blamed the trainer and the jockey of 8 bells right away, and the industry did not answer. The industry went into seclusion and basically said we need to hire a public relations agency to tell everybody how great we are and that we're cleaning this business up. When in fact it's very difficult to straighten up this business because we're so disorganized and fragmented, and there is, even with the best of intentions, which many people have, including the leadership of the industry, there's not venality here that's a problem. It's a lack of structure and a capability of reforming ourselves. And so the reform movement is always alive in this business, and this book was designed to keep that conversation going and try to affect some positive change. And a lot of that does revolve around our ability to regulate the use of drugs and to ensure that all the races are run on a level playing field, which is impossible today.
Talking with Jim Squires, author of Headless Horsemen. Now, horse racing back in, I guess, from the 30s to 50s, maybe mid-60s, was next to baseball or in boxing, one of the top 3 sports, and it has gone down the last 10 or 15 years, except for the Triple Crown part of the year, where people seem to get interested in it. But is that any factor in why more horses seemingly been on drugs?
The decline in the sport has basically been its inability to change with the times and to survive and with the modern competition for entertainment and leisure time. Back when we were second to baseball, baseball was number 1, and now even baseball is not number 1. So a lot of things have changed, and we weren't able to change with it. We still run our races in the middle of the afternoon and during the week when people are somewhere else, and leisure time is not at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday and Monday. So we haven't been able to change our economic model, so we're no longer able to race profitably. The racetracks have a very difficult time making any money or even breaking even, and most of the industry is unprofitable. The raising and breeding and owning of racehorses is not a profitable exercise, so we are short of owners, we're short of new money, and most of the yearlings that I raise are unprofitably sold, and you have to bet on one big horse or one big sale or one big success in order to stay in the game, and that has led us to the kind of high-stakes gambling that you see in Wall Street. I mean, basically, the cheaters win in Wall Street, and the people who do the slickest deals win in Wall Street. And we have followed suit pretty much as an industry. And it's because we can't reform ourselves. We're incapable of doing it.
You talk about in the book, which surprised me, the amount of horses every year at those sales. The years past, they would all be sold, and now you say there's a lot of horses that don't even get bid on in these sales anymore, which is interesting.
Well, it certainly was true last year, and it's the first sale this year followed suit. But that is, again, this is our industry thought we were immune to the laws of supply and demand. We thought that the way to make this industry to former prominence, was to market it as this high social level, big money, quick buck business. We always talked about the $50 million stallion syndications, the $1 million weanlings, the $10 million yearlings, and how this person invested, like I did. I had a great success story with Monarchos.
Mm-hmm.
I had a $7,500 stud fee, a $13,000 mare, and then the product of that union wins the Kentucky Derby. Well, people thought that made me rich. It really didn't. I sold the horse for $100,000, and I was able to survive later in the business because the offspring of the mare, the siblings of Monarchos, brought more money than they would normally have brought, so it helped me a great deal. But those kinds of success stories where people sell horses for $9 million basically brought into the business speculators who just want to breed the horse and make $9 million. There's the old adage in this, but if you want to make $1 million in this business, come in with $5 million and wait 5 years. You'll be a millionaire. So that is more true than there's a lot more of that than these fabulous success stories. So we always try to spin our way back to prosperity and growth, when in fact we need to reform our business, get a new economic model, cut back the number of unprofitable horses being raised, and quit raising them in the way we have been. I think raising and training the horse has contributed to the breakdowns on the track and the problems that we have with our public image.